Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today, you know what we're gonna have going on, okay? We're gonna be doing a realistic portrait in acrylics, and I have something brand spanking new for you guys this week. It's gonna be super exciting, so buckle up. You know the drill. I have everything down in the description box below, so you can go ahead and utilize that. If you happen to be in the live premiere, in the live chat, go ahead and put your questions down below, or you can comment below, put everything in all caps, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. But let's jump right on into this portrait today. I might break it up in two parts. It depends on how long it goes. But yeah, let's jump right into it. I'm going to go over my colors that I have on my palette really quick. And this is the palette that I usually use on a regular basis, but today I'm gonna talk while I actually paint. Hopefully you've seen the reference photo. If not, you can head over to our community over on Facebook. And yeah, you can utilize that. Head over to the community over on Facebook, over to our free group, and the reference photo is in there. Now today, right? Today she has, hopefully you've seen the reference photo, but she has very light skin. So I'm going to do her skin tone a little bit different today. And we're going to just start with this. I decided to utilize a little bit of craft paint today, you guys. I have my regular paint out, but I'm still going to utilize my craft paint all at the same time, because I know a lot of you guys use craft paint, so I think it might be a little bit easier. And the fact that craft paint is a little bit more like looser. I don't even, not looser, but more like kind of like fluid. That's the thing that I'm thinking about. So since her skin tone is pretty light, I'm going to add this light color. You see how fluid this is? Go right up under that eye. And hopefully you guys can see this. I wanted to zoom in and get my palette on here at the same time. And I'm going to go right up over here, right? Now, I'm actually going to get a little bit of this. I have some unbleached titanium. Oh, I forgot to go over the palette. So I just have my regular stuff out. Red oxide, quinacridone magenta. I'm putting a little bit of unbleached titanium right up here. Right? Because that's her cheekbone. And this is just our first layer, you guys. Watch your sorry, I'm trying to talk at the same time. Watch your drawing so you don't lose your place, right? So yeah, I decided oh, let me go with the palette. Unbleached titanium, yellow ochre. We have some golden brown kind of craft paint, burnt umber, burnt sienna. Or you could use a red oxide. If you don't have that, just use regular red. Quinacridone magenta. We have black, and then we have titanium white. I have a little bit of purple violet and a little bit of light ultramarine. Or you could just use regular blue paint, whatever you want. Okay, now I decided I'm going to color her face in all one tone this time. Usually I do faces kind of like in zones, if you know what I mean. Because I always tell you, like, the face has many different tones to it. And I'm using a 12 by 12. I'm using a 12 by 12 canvas panel. And you can pick this up anywhere. Okay. Now usually I do like different colors, like different zones, and do it like that. And because the face has many different tones to it, right? So that's usually why I do it that way, right? But today, I thought I would show you guys a different way of doing it. And I say you can actually go in with the mid-tone. And when I say mid-tone, or maybe the lightest version of the skin, which is like the highlight. Let me show you really quick. And you can fill the whole face in just to block the whole thing in. As you can see, her face is really brown, really light. She has a lot of highlights and stuff like that, right? So I like to go in and you can basically go in, block that whole middle tone in since she's so light, right? I'm going to go in and block this little middle tone in just to get some color. Watch her eyebrows. And to be able to block in this whole situationship, you guys, right? And to get that done quickly. Now, remember I said I added a little unbleached titanium to it. So it's going to be a little bit lighter than that golden brown that came with the craft paint. And you can pick up unbleached titanium anywhere. I'm just adding regular golden brown straight out of the tube just to make under the eyebrow a little bit darker. But I thought this would be easier for you guys to kind of follow. And I'm adding a little bit here, right by her hairline. Right, so that's going to be a little bit darker. I'm going to put some under here. Get some of that golden brown craft paint, a little bit darker brown. And I'm actually going to add a hint. Let me hold on to my little thing here. A hint of, look at that. You see that, you guys? I'm going to add a hint of quinacridone magenta, which will make it like a peachy kind of brown color. And I'm going to go right up under here in her neck. Now, I'm showing you guys how to do it this way because this is just a different technique where you can kind of fill things in with the mid-tone and then you can go back in with highlights, right? Highlights and shadows and all that stuff later on after this stuff kind of dries out. You know what I mean? But don't worry about this part too much because we just trying to block out, and you see how she has a different tone. Her neck is going to always be darker than the rest of your neck, period. Is going to always be a little darker than the rest of your face for the most part, especially if you have hair and all that stuff, right? So anyway, I'm trying to get this stuff in. You can even add a little bit of that here to the side of the face because that's going to be where her cheekbones and stuff is at anyway. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys a little bit different technique because it's no one way to kind of do things. Adding a little unbleached titanium right here. Watch your eyes. And like I said, I can always go back. Unbleached titanium, a little bit yellow ochre. You can add yellow ochre just to give it a little bit of like a yellowy, warm tone, like as you can see right there. Now she has a little bit of highlight in her life. You know what I'm saying? And again, this is the initial stage, so we just blocking things in. You feel what I'm saying? This is nothing is ever set in stone. If you happen to get to a point where you really don't like something, right? You can always wait till it dries and go back on top with a different color. Okay? Always, always. Go back on time. So, again, remember what I always tell you guys? This is always the ugly stage. So, things look weird before they actually end up looking better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even really wiping off my brush. I'm just kind of blocking things in. And I'm not doing too much blending because my layers, you guys, are pretty thin here. Pretty thin layers. Going back into this deeper brown. Because in the reference photo, and I'm not even going to say in the reference photo, let's just say in general, underneath your eyes, like right here, it's always going to be a little bit darker anyway, especially if you're wearing kind of like makeup or whatever like that. And she actually has makeup and eyeshadow on in this picture. So her eyes are going to be a little bit darker right there. Now, while this stuff is wet, you could just kind of take a clean, dry, take a clean, dry brush and kind of dry brush this stuff together. Get it together, you guys, right? So, yeah. Oh, if you guys want to have access, right? This is the perfect time to go ahead and, let me just say that, this is the perfect time to go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button. Give a girl a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Comment and let me know how you've been doing. How's your week been going? What's been going on? Fill me in. I would love to know. How have you been faring with everything that's happening in the world right now? While I just paint some of this stuff in. And I'm just going to add a little red here. It's like a reddish brown. Because she has a little red. And see, you could go back. You could go in and glaze. If you're not familiar with glazing, I was actually talking about that in my last video. Where you could actually go in and kind of glaze. Which is basically taking a thin layer. Right? It's basically a thin layer. Very thin layers of paint like this, right? But you don't want to add too much water. You just want your brush to be damp. You have very thin layers of paint, and you go across wherever you want to change that color. But try to make sure that that layer below is actually dry. Okay, so like I was saying, this would be a good time to go ahead and subscribe. I want to give a big shout out to all my new subscribers and my new Patreons and all the people that have supported me over the last week with my new group. This is a good segue to talk about my new group. If you want to be a supporter over at Patreon, I recently launched a new group where I do live paint and sips, more extensive tutorials if you really want to get in there and kind of learn how to do full-blown kind of tutorials. And it's just fun for everyone, the whole family, to just learn a new skill. This is basically the time of our lives to kind of hone in on those all the things that we always wanted to do. All the things, you guys, okay? So basically, if in my new group, I just did a new sorry, I'm kind of chatting and my paint is drying at the same time. So anyway, basically in the new group, I'm going to glaze a little bit over here. This is where I'm showing you where the glazing goes. But this is not dry. If it starts to lift, it's not dry. So basically in the new group, we did, I keep saying basically, we we did, okay, we did a new painting, one of my most popular paintings, my originals that I is already sold, but one of my most popular paintings, we did that this week, you guys, in my new group, my new VIP group over on Facebook, which you, boom, black, look at that. That's what we did in my new group, you guys. It was a full-blown tutorial, many hours. I've already had people kind of posting their work and talking about, you know, their whole experience with everything and yada yada. So, yes, if you would like to support the channel, you can head over to patreon.com/creativegirlofcolor and join the group. I'm doing new things every single week, just like I give the free new tutorials over here every week. You get exclusive access and exclusive art content into my YouTube channel. Like, I release all my videos over there first, and then to the general public over here. And you get bonus content plus extra tutorials for originals that I have, that I've actually designed and came up with specifically for the group. So yeah. So now that I kind of ranted about that, okay, so we did this. It's kind of dry, but not really. So let's kind of like work on her nose. Hopefully you guys are chatting in the chat and getting out those like burning questions that you've had in your mind about things that you want to do. I'm getting into my red oxide and some of that golden brown that's already there. I'm going to kind of mix these colors together and get like a different variations, as you can see right here, right? You can get these different variations going. So it goes from red to white, kind of light brown over there. You know what I mean? And again, this is the blocking stage, so you don't have to kind of worry yourself. I switched over to a smaller brush. Now that's kind of like a big thing that I want to talk to you guys about. Sometime I noticed that people have a hard time kind of doing the tutorial sometime because you don't necessarily have the right brush. So that's something that you need to think about. I'm actually gonna fill in a little bit over here just to get that dark space right there because that's bothering me. So yeah, people are not really having the right brush, and I recommend that you guys get the right brush for the right job. So if you want to fill in, let's say, the eyes, or like some really small detail like the nose, the lips, whatever, the pupils in the eyes, you want to have a really small brush. This isn't even as small as you can actually go. This is like I don't know what this is, matter of fact. Let me check. This is actually a number 6 round. Okay, you guys, number 6 round, but they come in different sizes, different things. I would get really small brushes and really big brushes. That's what I would say invest in when you first start. Now I'm gonna get a little smidge of white because we're going into the nose, and this is the only time for especially for African American skin, that you should actually be adding a lot of white and doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, I don't recommend that you add like a lot of white. when it comes to African American skin. Even though once you see the photo, you'll realize, and actually, I don't even need that. You'll start to realize that she is actually even though she's really light or whatever, you know, she's not that light where you would actually be thinking about adding a bunch of white. You know what I mean? You want to also remember to be washing out your brushes in between colors, you guys. Okay? I'm gonna add a little. I'm gonna go a little bit darker because I want to get underneath the nose, right here. Yeah, so you definitely and don't worry about the nose right now because again, this is our first layer. This is the blocking stage. And with that being said, I'm actually gonna put a little bit here. Since this is the blocking stage, I wouldn't even worry about, put up a little bit here. I wouldn't even worry about getting because at this point, it's not even about detail. Because remember, we're blocking in and then you put another layer. That's usually how I do it. But this is just my way, my personal way. But there's many, many ways to do it. So, I'm going to go even lighter. Because I want to put this little piece right here by her mouth. Watch the nose, because that can get really tricky when you're kind of filling that in. So watch that nose, okay, guys? What was I saying? So yeah, this is just the blocking stage. I wouldn't even worry about kind of getting everything, really right. Like everything needs to be precise and stuff like that. I wouldn't even worry about that sort of stuff right now because it's never going to be fully precise. And you know what? This is a great thing about craft paint because it's so fluid that you can kind of fill things in and do a lot with it. But the only thing I don't really like about it is the chalky consistency that you get with it. That to me is super terrible. I hate it because once it dries, it's gonna look like some serious chalk is going on. I'm telling you that right now. That's what it's gonna look like. So I'm getting a little bit of burnt umber and I'm going in with that mixture I already have on the palette. And I'm gonna go right up underneath her with the tip of the brush. You don't even wanna add too much pressure. But like with the tip of the brush, I'm gonna go up under here and fill in that lower lid. You gotta have that, right? You got to have that in there, you guys, to make things look more realistic. Now, if that's not what you're going for, don't worry about that, But we're doing realistic portraiture today, so that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's your painting. So if you don't want to do that, that's your business. You know what I'm saying? That's your business. So don't even worry about it if that's not something you really want to do. But, at the end of the day, it's about having fun and kind of sticking through things to the end. I'm going to get some of this reddish brown, a little bit more brown, make it a little bit of darker brown because I want to fill in her eyebrows. So that's why I'm going really dark with this one. If you feel like your palette is starting to dry out, spray it with some water lightly or keep wetting your brush like in between. And I still want it to be like kind of red, but dark red. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to fill that in because remember what I said, if you watch my last video, I always say that there's always a 5 o'clock shadow. Always, right? When you're doing eyebrows. So when you actually get in there and want to do those detailed kind of hairs, you feel what I'm saying? Let me watch my hands because I always got my big ass hand in there. And you guys are not able to see it because my giant hand is in the way. I'll be noticing that on the videos when I be doing videos. So just go ahead and block it in just to kill that white and get you some color in there. Go ahead and block in with that dark red brown. And then we'll just go back on top with maybe black or dark brown to put the individual kind of little hairs in. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Okay, so now her eye lids up here. Her eyelids, believe it or not, are pretty dark. Pretty dark, you guys. So you could actually go in and add that dark eyelid with the same kind of thing. Or you can go even a little bit lighter. Get into that lighter mixture and add that dark eyelid. Hopefully you guys are seeing this. I gotta always be checking that my hand is not in the way. When you're doing these delicate processes, you want to actually go in and you know, do a light sweeping motion when you're doing these delicate, you know, yada yadas. Now I want to fill in her lip, so I'm going to get... Oh, I need to blend that out on her nose. That looks weird. I don't even know why that's there, for real. And I'm sure it's not even wet anymore. I mean, yeah, it's not. So I would have to go back on top with that. Okay. All right. That's why you gotta blend things out when they're still wet. Like right here. This is dried up. So yeah. Okay. Her lips. Her lip is a very dark kind of rouge. Like a dark, moody kind of red. So you could actually, if you want to make red darker, I'm actually going to do magenta with purple because I already have it on my palette, which are convenience colors. If you don't have that, right, you can get regular red and a little bit of blue and keep gradually adding it, and it will start to turn a little bit purple. At the very least, you want to get a dark red, or you can just add green, and that will give you the color that you're looking for. Okay? And at the base of the lip, is a little bit darker, so I'm going in with that purple right here. Just, again, this is just to get some color on. So I'm going, and remember the top lip should always be a little bit darker than the bottom, and the corners of the mouth is always going to be darker. So that's just something to think about. And when you're dealing with acrylics or even oils, you're going to always go dark to light. So yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're going to always go dark to light. I'm going to put some of that purple. Now this is going to read, even though it looks kind of purple, it's going to read as like a dark red, believe me. And again, this is just us doing realistic, wash out your brush in between colors. This is us doing a realistic portrait. So, because we're doing a realistic portrait, I actually want some red. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Yeah. See, I'm getting some regular good old craft paint, and I'm gonna get me some red out. I don't really need it to be like, you know, extra whatever. And we're gonna get a little, because that stuff tends to run, right? And I'm gonna get into my red and actually add it to my quinacridone magenta, because that's my favorite combo, you guys. Red and quinacridone magenta. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's my jam right there. And I'm going to add that right here. Okay? But again, this is your painting. Like, you don't necessarily have to go by what I'm doing. I'm going to add that red right to the top right there. Yeah, so you don't have to go by what I'm doing. Do whatever's going to make you happy, okay? That's the most important thing. But if you want to do a realistic portrait, and we're kind of practicing how to make sure that you get the likeness of whoever you're trying to paint, then you definitely want to go by the reference photo. Oh, I forgot to mention, I know you guys are probably like, oh my god, here she go, Patreon again. Yes, we're going to talk about Patreon. Now, if you want the traceable, meaning the drawing, if you're not good with drawing and you want to have access to the traceable, this is actually on my Patreon. Again, patreon.com/creativegirlofcolor. And it has the different tiers, but if you want the traceable is $1 in my Patreon. Or, you know, you could donate $1 an episode. Because, why? Because it's awesome. Okay? So that's what we're doing, you know, because it's awesome. So I want to get like a brown. Her eyes are kind of brown. So let's go with a brown. We get a little bit of purple. Purple, I'm telling you, is a good ass color. It's a good color. Because you can actually do a lot with it, and it'll make it look really dark. So I'm going to get that. And I'm actually going to add that right here. Now, if you happen to go on Patreon and you get the drawing, in the drawing I actually put in the highlight okay, that's in her eye, right? Since I put the highlight in her eye, and if you want to go a little bit darker, you could actually mix some black with that brown, more purple, just to warm it up, right? And go right on in. Now, underneath the eyelids is always going to be really, really dark. Hopefully you can see that. And that's not an issue. So anyway, in the drawing, I actually highlighted sorry, I'm trying to talk and do her eyes at the same time. I actually highlighted her eye, right? I put the little highlight box. You can see the little highlights right there in the eye, right? So I put that in already, so you don't have to think about where you're going to put your highlight. And in that section, you could actually get your small little detail brush. And this is when the little detail brushes come in hand, which now, a good thing, you guys, is now a lot of places are doing roadside pickup. Not roadside pickup. Huh. What are you talking about, Danielle? Roadside pickup. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of the blue and white, because I want to put the highlight in her eye. And that's what we're going to do for the highlight. And I got my little tiny, teeny, tiny brush. And boom, there we go. So anyway, and this is going pretty quick, you guys. Even though we're just at the base layer. See, look at that. And then you just fill that in. Fill that right on in. And that is what we call an instant highlight. Okay? And it's going to be gorgeous. Yeah, because a highlight, you guys, is never just strictly a highlight should never just be strictly white. I mean, even though sometimes I do that, but you know, I'm going back into the blue because I want to fill in the white of her eyeballs. And what was I saying? Oh, anyway, I actually did, when I did the drawing, like I said, I already filled in. I'm taking this. If you don't have the blue, add a little bit of black, right? And mostly white, and just do a gray. Because it's kind of like the same thing. Get that gray in there. Because I always tell you guys, eyes are not strictly white. You know, when they say the white to the eyes, that's not really what they mean. You know what I'm saying? That's not what they mean. So yeah, let's talk about what has been going on with you guys week. What has been happening? Fill me in. Take your time when you're filling in your eyes. And we want to leave that and let it dry. All right. Let's put the dark in her nose. So we're going to go back into our brown. We don't want it to be black, but we want it to be like a dark brown. Yeah, so what has been going on with you guys' week? Let me know. And let's talk about what has been going on in my week. Okay. I launched my new group. I mean, we talked about that. Which has been I'm super happy and thankful for people that signed up. And I'm looking forward to growing it out even more and having like a art revolution, you know, because I think art is a big component of life and should be spread everywhere. And that's what I feel. Okay. Everybody should have some sort of art in their lives. Okay. Like I was saying before, don't worry about, because this is just a blocking stage. So don't worry about if things look crazy. Everything looks crazy before it looks good. I'm adding that same dark color right here on that top lip. Because this should be dry at this point. Okay? Yep. We just getting some color down. Alright? And we're moving quick. Bang, 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 bow, bow, bow. You ever seen that movie, Boomerang? And he was like, bang, bang, bang. We banging it out, okay? Alright. Let's get into the chest here. She has weird... This is her actual clavicle. So if you're wondering what that bumpy thing is, this is her clavicle. So don't feel like, oh, Danielle's bugging out. Why does she add this hill? That's her clavicle, but she's a gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful Instagram model. Instagram influencer. I think her name is Noni. I don't know how to pronounce her name. But she's a beautiful African-American model out of the UK. Out of the UK, you guys. Okay? Okay? That's where she's at. Anyway, so I'm going to get some of this reddish brown. And my paints are drying out quick because of the lights. So it's like not having it. I'm adding some yellow ochre and a little bit of unbleached titanium. Why do I add unbleached titanium? Because I want to lighten up my paints without... I'm going to just add it here. Okay? Because remember, this is her chest. And let me move it up a little bit. This is her chest, and this is her shirt. Her shirt is white. But you can make her shirt whatever color you want to make it. But, I mean, again, this is realistic painting, okay? And we want to be as realistic as possible. I'm going to add a little bit of that red. Give me like a pinky, peachy, light color. What was I talking about? Okay, so so like I said, she is, I'm going to make this a little bit lighter than the neck because we want this to stick out. Because that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to stick out. And eventually we're going to get rid of those black lines because this is about realistic painting. And really you shouldn't have any black outlines in realistic painting. But we'll just build up the layers and eventually get rid of those lines. I'm adding just strictly yellow ochre because I need that clavicle to pop, baby. Okay? And remember we talked about brush strokes. And I want this to be really light. Because remember, this is going down into the boob area. Even though she doesn't really have a lot of boobs, but still, we want to indicate that something is kind of going on in there. And again, we're just blocking in color. Colors. Okay, and because we're blocking in colors, it doesn't need to be perfect. For reals. It really does not need to be perfect. Now look at her. Her face is one color. This is one color. And this is what I mean about, this is the blocking stage. This is the underpainting. So you don't need to necessarily get everything perfect and feel like everything needs to be a certain way in the beginning, even if you're doing realistic painting, because a lot of this stuff is going to be covered up. We just want to kill the white of the canvas, right? All right, let's move on to the hair. We're going to block that in. And then at this, because we're almost at the hour mark, you guys, right? You've been hanging in there with your girl for an hour. I mean, at this point, you could probably even change out your water, like say, and come back to it. Save it to a playlist. Save me to a playlist so you can come back to me later. And this is where my purple comes in. Why did I put out purple? Because let's look at her hair again. Let's look at the reference photo. As you can see, her hair is really light. It even looks gray. But no, it's not, right? Looks are deceiving. It is actually a light purple. A light purple, you guys. Boom, blew your mind, didn't it? Right? So it's a light purple. And since it's a light purple, you can actually do a gray purple and make it really, really light. So I'm going to mix gray, blue, purple, all the things, because I want her hair to be really, and you see how that gives you like a light, really like mauve color right there? And because remember, we're working dark to light. Okay? You need to have the dark underneath. You need to block that dark underneath so that you can go on with the highlights and the other activities on top. Because remember what I always say, it's about layers, right, you guys? So I mean, you can lighten it up some more, but at the end of the day, that base layer should be a good purple gray. That's what I want to see for that base layer, because you need to have, especially in here, kind of like in the recesses of things. Now, the key to hair, let's talk about that. Let me move this down so you can see the hair and all that a little better. And get my fat fingers out of the way. I'm using my number 8 cat's tongue brush in case you are wondering. Number 8 art Sherpa brush, which I'll link that below. You can get that at thebrushguys.com. If they are still operational, I don't know. Okay? All right. Now, the key to watch your flowers. Those are flowers. So we don't want to color those in. We just want to get, like, the hair in. The key to hair is you can do it in several ways, hair, right? But today, we're going to do it this way where we block in with the dark purple gray. And to make it easier, right, you want to go in the same direction as the hair. And you see the hair is in an S curve, so you go swoop and swoop, right? Now, to make it easier and more digestible, what you would do is go ahead and block it in section by section. And that's what we're doing here. And some, like in between the recesses, those are always going to be a little bit darker and stuff like that. So you could actually add your dark in. You would go in with a darker purple, right? Really darker purple. And that's what you would do there. So you would go like really dark purple. Or in this case, this is like a violet or whatever, right? So you go in with the darker purple and you can cover up that black mark. And that'll signify that, you know, she has something else going on in the recesses. That's what these little lines are, you know, right there. It'll give you that. Now, if you're more advanced, right, and you're used to doing this, you know how to fix whatever you're doing. You know, a more advanced painter, somebody that really knows their way around a painting, that you know that when they're able to kind of do something, right? I don't even know how to explain it, but they're able to. I'm putting some of this really dark right there. They're able to kind of do things and mess things up on a painting, and then they can instantly fix it. So that's the key. Like, you got to know how to fix. You got to know, in order to know how to paint, you got to know how to fix it too. They kind of go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Anyway, that's my little rant on it. And again, this is our blocking stage. That's why we're going to have these dark little things in there. We're going to put that dark in there, okay, baby? Make sure your brush is nice and wet, or you can get some acrylic glazing liquid. Again, we want this to be a light purple. So you want to add a little bit of white, a little bit of blue, whatever you want to do. I actually like it with the white and the blue. And you can actually go on, like I said, do it in sections. I put it in sections for you guys so you kind of don't get lost in the sauce. And watch your flowers, because those are not going to be purple. Those are going to be pink. And just block it in. Block it in, block it in. You know what I'm saying? Get a little bit of blue, a little bit of gray in there. But don't just do blue. You want to make sure. But even me, I'm still going to follow my curves because I don't feel like basically doing this over again. You know, I would have to do it from scratch myself if I decide that I'm not going by my drawing. Ooh, and I went over my flower. You see that flower right there? Watch it. I don't know what this is. Oh, let's see what it is now. Yeah, so that, you shouldn't actually fill that in. Where was I at with it? I was talking about something. Forgive me. I think I've been doing too much painting. My brain is kind of like scattered. So, oh, but I think I'm really digging kind of like the purple gray with a little bit of the blue in it. I think I'm digging that. Under here is going to be really dark, right? So with that being said, you could actually add a little bit of black to that just to get you a darker value or whatever. If you happen to need to be able to do it from scratch, right? Still add your blue to it, light blue. And we're going to go under here because under here we need to give the illusion like this is coming from under her neck, which is going to be strictly in shadow, right, guys? So let's get that dark color in there. Sorry, my nose is kind of stuffy too because it still is allergy season, you guys. Like, it's crazy. Yes, it is. Still following that hair right there. Follow it, follow it. I'm actually going to go right here with it too. Some of this darker color. Some of that dark. And under here, right, is really dark. Because this has, it's like I don't even know. I'm getting a little bit of water. It's like a curl. So that's the only way I can explain it. So this part is going to be really, really dark right here. Right up under the eye. And a little trick is if you happen... Ooh. Alright. See, now I'm messing things up. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so here's a little trick. If you happen to mess up, just like I did, you can wet it, right? Wet the area you want to remove with a clean, dry brush and actually get that area out. So anyway, this area right here is really dark. So that's why I'm putting that dark gray underneath there. Because I need that area to be really, really dark. Right? I chose this one, you guys, because I chose this reference photo because I thought this would be really fun for you guys to learn the different nuances. And I'm just adding this dark gray wherever I see like really dark spots. And that's the key to hair, like shadows, clumps, all that jazz, right? So yeah, I thought this would be fun for you guys because I know a lot of people, like they really, so I want to add like, like this dark right here. I want to add it. Yada, yada. And you have like something going here. And something here. Anyway, I know a lot of people, like, you be online and you get inspired by these, like, Instagram models and stuff like that. A lot of Instagram models and stuff, right? I'm putting gray under here, like a darker gray right here. And you get really inspired by that. So I thought this would be, like, really fun to kind of do. Like, you know what I mean? I thought it really would be a fun piece. I'm going to put this right on top of the head. right there. Okay, now I can go back into the lighter purple, add a little bit of white, just to kill some of that dark I had on my brush. Or you can change out brushes or wash your brushes out or whatever. You see how I went into the light. Come into the light, Caroline. Y'all ain't never see that? That what you call it? Come into the light, Caroline. Yep. Alright, I could put out some more purple. Because I needed to kill that gray. It's too purple. It was too gray. I need to put back my purple gray. Anyway, so it said, come into the light, Caroline. Poltergeist. Or am I like the only one? I think I'm like the only one. That's okay if I'm the only one. Okay. Anyway, watch your flowers. I'm filling in all the spaces I missed. And I probably should get a, like right here. And make sure you follow that, follow the wave of whatever direction your hair, watch your brush. English is hard. Apparently. Okay? English is hard. So anyway, I'm getting a darker gray and going in here. Because this is inside. Like, it's like a inside curl or whatever. I don't know. And think about your brush strokes. Whatever you do, think about that. Especially when you're trying to do like something kind of realistic. And you feel your brush starting to drag, go ahead and wet it. Go ahead and wet it, baby, wet it, wet it. Yeah, so like I said, watch your brush strokes so that you know you can follow the pattern of the hair or whatever it is, right? And the flowers this time are pretty easy. So you guys don't necessarily have to worry about that. Excuse me, they're pretty easy. And this goes right up over here, really. I really like this because this wig was doing it for me, okay? It just was. It was doing it for me. I was loving on this wig. I started following her on Instagram because I loved her photos. She takes really beautiful, kind of like glamorous, I don't know, get a little bit of that dark gray, put it right there. Still need to do that. Yeah, so just fill in your spots wherever you see them. Fill them in. In the beginning, try to leave your black lines a little bit so that you know where you need to do your brush strokes, okay? So you know where you been, baby. And there's a flower right here, so think about that. Pay attention to that when you're doing things. It's a flower right there. So anyway, yeah, I started following her on Instagram because I thought she was beautiful, and she had this wig line, a lot of gorgeous things, and, you know, I was really feeling it and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I decided I want to paint her. And I think everybody would enjoy kind of me painting her. Right? That's what I was thinking in my head. I mean, y'all could dispute it if you want to. Alright? Go ahead and, you know, let me know. I'm just doing the little squigglies down here. Just to let that hair flow. Let it flow, let it flow. Okay? Alright, so now we are an hour and 7 minutes in. So I think that's a good time to go ahead and stop, you guys. I think we got quite a lot done. And I'm thinking it's looking great so far. You let me know down in the comments what you think. I think for the next week we're gonna come back with part 2. Okay? And we're gonna have that whole thing, situationship going. But if you still want to continue with the painting spree, you can head over to my new group for Patreons only, and you can check that out. So anyway, until next time, you guys, I love you so, so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.